Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into Eckhart Tolle's incredible book, A New Earth. And this book, it doesn't ease you in with some feel-good promise. No, it kicks off by staring a massive, profound problem right in the face, a problem that affects every single one of us.
So Tolle hits us with this just shocking statistic right from the get-go. And you have to ask, why? Well, he does it to force us to look at what he calls an unbelievable insanity. It's this collective sickness, a deep dysfunction that's at the very core of the human condition. I mean, we're talking about a level of violence that it doesn't make any rational sense. Okay, so where in the world does all this madness come from? The book's big argument is that this isn't some external thing we can just fix with better laws or new technology. Nope. The real root of the problem, it's internal. It's inside each and every one of our minds. And that brings us to his diagnosis of the problem. Tolle gives it a name that I'm sure you've heard a million times, but he means something very, very specific by it. He calls it the human ego. Now hang on, because this isn't about being arrogant or self-centered, not in the way we usually use the word. For Tolle, the ego is that nonstop, involuntary voice inside your head. You know the one I'm talking about, the narrator that just never ever shuts up. It's the part of you that's constantly judging, worrying, complaining, basically defining your whole world. It's pure thought, but with zero awareness that it's just a thought. So, how does this ego actually work? Well, its main trick is identification. It loves to tell you, I am what I have. And that's exactly why losing something we value, whether your car gets stolen or something huge like losing your house, it feels absolutely devastating. It's not just the thing you lost, it feels like a piece of you was ripped away. And it doesn't stop there. The ego also says, I am what I do. Just think about it. How do we introduce ourselves? Hi, I'm a doctor. I'm a teacher. For so many of us, that identification is so total that losing a job is way more than just losing a paycheck. It feels like a complete and total loss of who you are. Oh, and the ego absolutely loves your personal story. It clings to your history for dear life, the good bits for sure, but especially the bad bits. It uses everything that's ever happened to you to define who you are right now. And what that really does is keep you completely stuck, trapped in the past.
And this next one, this is a huge one. The ego identifies with your mental positions. We're talking about your opinions, your beliefs, your viewpoints. This is exactly why a simple disagreement can blow up into a nasty, vicious argument. See, it's not just an idea being challenged. The ego takes it personally. It feels like it's under attack, and that is a surefire recipe for conflict.
All right, so how does all this egoic identification stuff actually show up day to day? We've kind of defined the ego, but now let's get real and look at the symptoms, how it's the direct source of so much of our stress and unhappiness. Well, here's the thing about the ego. Its favorite playground is almost never right here, right now. It's always either digging up the past, making you feel guilty or resentful, or it's rocketing into the future, cooking up all kinds of anxiety and worry about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. The actual present moment? Yeah, the ego pretty much ignores it completely. And here's a perfect real-world example of that voice in action. There was a woman who called into a webcast with Tolle and Oprah, right? And she's explaining how she loves spending Sundays with her family, but this little voice in her head just fills her with anxiety, whispering, when your mom calls, what are you going to say about not going to church? That is the ego. It's just an old, conditioned thought pattern creating fear and guilt over a simple choice she's making right now, in the present. Okay, so if getting lost in this egoic mind is the root problem, then what's the solution? What's the cure? Well, the answer is actually surprisingly simple. But don't let that fool you. It's also the single most profound shift a human being can possibly make. And what's so crucial here is that the solution isn't to fight your ego. You don't argue with it. You don't try to crush it. The real answer is to bring in a totally new dimension of consciousness. Tolle calls it presence, or you can just call it awareness. And you can see the difference right here. One is being totally lost in your thinking, and the other is simply being aware of your thinking.
Honestly, this point is everything. You literally cannot be lost in an egoic thought and be aware that you're thinking at the exact same time. It's just impossible. The second you shine that light of awareness on the thought, poof, the unconscious identification just dissolves. It's like the illusion can't survive when you're truly present.
Which brings us to the main practice. Imagine you're stuck in the mud, right? Cursing the mud, fighting it, that's just going to get you deeper and dirtier. The very first step to getting out is to just accept the reality of it. Okay, I'm in the mud. That's what Tolle calls non-resistance. It's all about accepting the isness, the reality of this present moment, instead of fighting it in your head.
And this whole practice really breaks down into 3 key ideas for what Tolle calls enlightened living. First up, non-resistance. That just means accepting this moment exactly as it is, without that constant internal argument. Then there's non-judgment, just observing what's happening without that automatic reflex to label it good or bad. And finally, non-attachment. You can absolutely enjoy things in this world, but you stop looking to them to define who you are.
So what happens when you actually start doing this? When you begin to bring that simple, non-judgmental awareness into your life, to your thoughts, to your emotions, to whatever situation you're in, what you get is a massive, fundamental shift in your entire state of being.
You start to feel this deep, inner peace that has nothing to do with whether things outside are going your way or not. You feel this incredible sense of connection to all of life. And maybe most importantly, you stop creating your own suffering. That awakened state of consciousness, the one that's popping up one person at a time, well, that's the new earth the book is talking about. It's not some place you go to. It's a state of being you discover inside yourself.
Okay, this brings us all the way to the single most important practice. If there's one core idea you take away from this whole explainer, something you can apply literally right now, this is it. Think about it. As you're listening to me right now, there's a voice in your head, isn't there? It's commenting, it's interpreting, maybe it's even disagreeing with me. So here's the profound, life-changing question. Are you that voice? Or are you the one who hears the voice? The very moment you realize there's the thinker and then there's the silent awareness behind the thinker, that right there is the beginning of true freedom.